Thank you for joining us for All Things Real Estate. Now, here are your hosts, Brad Avergon and Gary Kelly.
Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it might be where you are, and welcome to All Things Real Estate with
Brad Avergon.
That's where you say Brad Avergon.
I was waiting. Usually you introduce yourself first, Gary. I'm Brad Avergon with Fairway Independent Mortgage, and I'm joined by the illustrious
Gary Kelly of LaMacchia Realty. So I've got, I sat down over the holiday season and I thought in terms of new year, new me. And I decided that I'm not going to change. I am who I am, so the heck with it. So you can go to the gym if you want. Sue started Noom. So it's, she's quick to point out it's not Weight Watchers, but she keeps track of not points, colors, and it's basically keeping track of water. So she's very much into things like blueberries that have water in them. And then I frustrate her when I say, where did that blueberry come from? Because it's not coming from Maine this time of year. Most recent ones came from Chile, which is always interesting. Anyway, new year, new me. What does that mean to our clients and friends and so forth as they look at buying and selling homes? A lot of people look to this time of year to sell their home. And from my perspective, if they have not been talking to a realtor, it's time to get going and get with the stick. It doesn't mean you call the realtor and say, I want the house on the market tomorrow. Frankly, Sue and I have done that. It's a bit of a rush at the time, but it's not how you should put a home on the market. Okay, take a look at the house, do what needs to be done to get it ready, which is often decluttering. That's a big part of it. I'm not a big fan of massive renovations to get a house ready to go on the market. Some people do like that. From my perspective, I look at it and say, a coat of paint tends to be fairly affordable and it's easy to do if it needs it, but I wouldn't knock walls down, that kind of thing. Right. But it's time to have those discussions. So Brad, when should the house go on the market?
As soon as it's ready.
Well, I like to say to people that homes, the best time to put the home on the market is the day that you put it on MLS. And that's a bit of hyperbole. And what I mean by that is it's not going to sell if it's not on the market. So put it on the market. That was by definition the best day. In general, what we're going to see, I'm looking out my window and I'm seeing dry ground, and it's like, I don't know when we're going to start to get snow here in any serious amount, but snow drives a lot of behaviors around homes. People aren't necessarily excited to go shopping for homes when there's 4 feet of snow on the ground. If the Patriots progress farther, that becomes a distraction to home selling because people are going to focus on supporting the home team, etc. So what we tend to see is an uptick in inventory, an uptick in available things to look at come, I'm going to say March-ish, depending upon what the weather's doing.
Right.
So that to me is kind of a target time frame people should think about. They're ready to go now. They want to beat the crowd. They can do that. They want to wait later. I mean, the problem with waiting later is a lot of people look to buy homes if they have, I'm not supposed to talk about anything other than people buying houses, but if they're by chance, there are children running around, they want to be settled for the school year.
Right.
Okay. Whether you're buying or selling, that tends to drive things. And that, I believe, is one of the reasons why the spring market is such a big thing.
Well, I think you're right, Gary. And I think it's not only do they want to be settled by the school year, they don't want to leave in the middle of the school year. So, not only, you're looking at situations where people are kind of like right now, they're coming out of the holiday season, and people by nature, and this is not true for everybody, but by nature, most of us as human beings, we procrastinate if we can. And it doesn't take much to take us off our path, right? Whether it starts at Thanksgiving and ends at New Year's, it doesn't take much to pull us off our path, or maybe it's a Patriots game, as you said. But once you've got the kids in the school year, and then you got to, you think you want to sell. If you want to sell your house, you want to sell it when it looks its best, and if it looks its best, does it look its best when there's snow on the ground and mud, or does it look better when there's flowers blooming and it's a bright sunny day and the lawn is green? And that's the mindset of a lot of folks. And by selling it in the spring, they're thinking, you know what, the kids will wrap up school. This will be great. We'll move at the end of June. Maybe be in July, and we'll be all set, as you indicated, for the school year. I think the challenge with that is that, there's a lot of other people that have that same mindset. So you find yourself this spring market, all of a sudden, people are jumping on the market and putting their homes in the market. So you have a lot more competition. Where I see the winter market as being a really great market for people to sell their homes, because there's so few listings available. And I also see it as a great buying market, because in the same time when a lot of homes come on the market and people get that, love is in the air, spring feeling, a lot of buyers jump back in.
Love is in the
air. And now you've got that, competitive edge. Once Valentine's Day hits, right? You get that, if you happen to get that ring, your days are numbered. You got to go find another house, right? So I think
your
there's a lot more
days are numbered.
Well,
oh my God!
The days are numbered to the wedding day. That's what I meant by that.
Brad.
The wedding day days are numbered. That's what I meant. Gary, what were you?
Brad, when someone wants to call and complain about your analogy, how would they reach you?
They can call me personally at 978-375-5531, or they can email me at brad@bradavragon.com. Gary,
if people need help with reaching Brad, I can be reached at Gary at movewithgary.com or 508-733-6005. So, Brad, as you get ready to get married, and by the way, I'm going to make sure Cindy gets to see this episode as you count down the days. Oh my God. Brad, we have to go into a second half. I can't stop this early. We got to keep going. We got to press on.
Okay. I'll see you on the flip side.
No, we're going to keep going. We've got another few minutes.
Oh, we have more time.
You've got me laughing. I don't want to go on. So Brad, separate from the countdown that's represented by Valentine's Day, if someone wants to sell their house, they can sell it now. What are you seeing with respect to buyers in the marketplace right now? Because as a loan officer, you often see the early, let me get a pre-approval, let me get pre-qualified. In some cases, let me talk to someone because I got to get my credit cleaned up. And how do I go about doing that?
Yeah, so the buyers that I'm seeing right now, a lot of them are in that mindset of, oh, I may wait, or I'm in a lease or whatever. And I'm actually opening up a lot of their ideas, in the sense that I do believe personally that a great time to purchase a home is right now, before a lot of the other buyers jump in that spring market, because we could easily find ourselves back into a situation where you've got, a listing with multiple offers out there, and it makes it really frustrating for buyers trying to buy a home. So I think right now is a great time to get ready, certainly get pre-approved. And then if the right house comes along, you've got a better shot at getting it, I think, than you may have in the spring. But, time will tell.
So, Brad, you mentioned pre-approval. In the next couple of minutes before the break, how does someone go and get pre-approved?
So there's a big distinction between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval. A pre-qualification is if somebody gives me a call, or they call any mortgage lender, and they discuss their income, their assets, their liabilities, and they give them a ballpark idea, and maybe they even send them a letter that they've been pre-qualified. A pre-approval is where we have that same conversation, but we take it to the next step, where I review, or the lending officer reviews their W-2s, their pay stubs, their bank statements. They run a credit report, and they run it through an underwriting protocol, an underwriting software protocol, and they actually can pre-approve them. Even beyond that, we're able to send a loan to underwriting to get a full commitment letter subject to an appraisal of the property and obviously a contract and title. That's even stronger. And I'm a big fan of that because I think it puts buyers in a real advantageous negotiating position.
Are you doing a lot of that right now?
I'm doing more of it now because again, it goes back to what I said earlier. I think we're going to find ourselves in an interesting market this spring, very competitive, and I want to put my buyers in the best position.
All right, so I'm Gary Kelly with Lamacchia Realty. I can be reached at 508-733-6005. And the guy that's irritating all the women of the world is
Brad Avergon with Fairway Independent Mortgage, and I can be reached at 978-375-5531 or brad@bradavergon.com.
And you'll be having an extended stay at the Extended Stay Motel in this not so distant future, I'm sure.
I'll be sleeping at this office 7 days a week, 24 hours a day when my wife sees this.
All right, let's take a break. We'll pay some bills and then we'll come back for the second half.
Sounds good, Gary.
Stay tuned. More All Things Real Estate coming right up.